What's up YouTube? We've got another episode of the Shitbox Chronicles. Today we're working on our Toyota MR2 again. We're going to be doing a small appearance upgrade with the fog lights. Basically, we're going to be wiring the fog lights to the side markers so we can use them as daytime running lights. As the car comes stock from the factory, you can only use the fog lights with the headlights low beams, so your headlights have to be up in order for you to use the fog lights. What I'm hoping to accomplish is to be able to use the fog lights with just the side markers and keep the headlights down. We're going to be changing a little bit of the wiring, nothing too crazy though. I did do a lot of research on the forums and there was even a write-up, but I'm a visual learner, so it was a little hard for me to understand everything. Anyway, I figured I'd record the process in case someone else wanted to do the mod but would rather see it than read about it. First things first, let me show you guys the lights turned on one by one so you can see the options that come from the factory. Pretty much I'll turn on the side markers, headlights, and fog lights. After that, I'll show you guys the process I went through to wire the fog lights to my side markers, and then I'll show you guys the end results. Alright, let's get to it. Oh, I don't know if I showed you guys this tasty shift knob yet. What do you guys think of that? So my Instagram page is Oni MR2. You guys can see a better picture there, but that's the Oni on the shift knob. Very tasty. Anyway, let's put our key in. We can see we have power. That's kind of annoying. Close the door. We're just gonna turn the switch. I don't know if you guys can see it really. Gonna go up 1, nothing happens. 2, we should have lights on the dash. And you can see we have lights on the side markers. This switch is for the fog lights, so we're gonna go ahead and flick them on. And we'll see if they are turned on as is. You can see the side markers are on, but the fog lights are not. Alright, we're gonna put them up one more. You can see our headlights popped up now. Side markers are still on. And now the fog lights are on. So we have all three. Basically what this mod is gonna do, we're gonna have this side marker and the fog light turned on, the headlight shut off. Now it looks like I have a dead bulb on the passenger side, so I'll replace that before I make the video. But alright, this is what you guys should have with your stock 91 Toyota MR2 in the US. Since the passenger fog light's already dead, the bulb doesn't work, I'm gonna go ahead and replace both the bulbs before we do this wiring. The parts we're gonna be using, I got them off of Amazon. They're just H3 LED fog lights, and I did get the gold and yellow color. Nothing special about them. I only chose them because they were cheap. I think like 10-20 bucks, I don't remember. But anyway, let's put them on the car and get started with the wiring. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but there's two little slots, one here and one here. Both of them have Phillips head screws on them. Go ahead and take those out and you should be able just to replace your fog light bulbs. You're going to want to unscrew the tab here. Just click to the left and you see that it has wires in it. Okay, the harness is kind of clipped into place, so I'm going to use a flathead screwdriver just to pry that out. Alright, now that it's loose, we're going to go ahead and disconnect it from the back. Just pull on it. There is a little clip in here. This metal piece, just go ahead, push it, pry it back. And you should be able to remove the bulb. This is the OEM one, the replacement. I don't know if you guys can see it on video, but there are 2 notches down there. Make sure you put those in the correct spot. I mean, as long as it's in the notch, you should be okay. Then you're just gonna go ahead and press down on the clip to secure it back in place. Alright, now that it's back in place, connect it to this little adapter, put the case back on, and repeat for the second side. All right, I replaced both the bulbs, so now I'm gonna turn them on just so we can see if they work or not. If you're gonna do this wiring thing, might not be a bad idea to replace the fog light bulbs while you're there. They're only maybe 20 bucks, and the wiring is pretty much a free mod. So let's check it out. Let's see if these fog lights work. Here we can see both of our fog lights are working now. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with the wiring, so we can run these as daytime running lights. It'll be the side markers and the fog lights, but the headlights will stay down. All right, with the hood up, battery disconnected, we're gonna remove the fuse box over here. It looks like it has a 10mm bolt over here and one down here. You might not need to remove this. I'm going to, just because it looks like the cable goes under and I want to get all the clearance I can get to this. So we're gonna go ahead and try and remove this. Hopefully I don't have to remove these bolts, but if we have to, we will. Let's go. Special appearance by the Chuncho. All right, that's one out. I should mention both of the bolts are 10mm bolts. He got one out. He's gonna move on to the next. That's the one down here. Right there. There you go. We got both of them out. One's a nut, one's a bolt. Let's see. Okay, this is kind of loose, and I think we are gonna have to end up losing this one here. I want to get this plate out of the way so we can see all the wires and have clear access to what we're doing. So before we pry this up, I think we are going to remove this. Looks like maybe a 12mm bolt here. All right, looks like the support for the spare tire is still in the way. We're going to need to remove it so we can move the metal case here. We are going to end up loosening that 12mm bolt down there. All right, we have two more bolts for the support beam here. We've got one here, one here.
Oh shit, hell.
Okay, now that the spare tire support's free, just pull it out.
Weight reduction.
This is the plate we want out. Now we have full access to the wires down there, and now we can remove the fuse box and flip it over since we're going to be working on the underside. There's a tab on the side of the fuse box down here. Just use a flathead screwdriver to pry it down, and you should be able to slide out of place. We need access to the wires down here, so we're going to lose the cover. Alright, so we got the cover off. I think we broke the tabs. They might be able to snap back, maybe not. They look intact for the most piece, but this is what you want to remove. Now we have the back wires exposed. Alright, for this next piece, we're going to find the red and yellow wire that goes to the front fogs. If you have the cover on, you'll see it's the bottom right hand relay. This relay right here, you're going to flip it over and find the red and yellow wire. You can see it's this one right here. Now that you look at your wire about 4 or 5 inches down, go ahead and cut it. We're going to use this to splice into another wire later. Now that you cut the red and yellow wire, just kind of have them stand straight up so you can identify them easily. The next step is here, we're going to remove all this electrical tape until we get to the main loom. From there, we're going to look for some grain wires. Since we're trying to gain access to the loom down here, it's a good idea to disconnect these two connectors right here just to move these out of the way, give us more access. Alright, to make sure we're working with the correct wires, I decided I'm gonna cut the entire loom from the front of the fuse box all the way to the firewall, so I can trace on the wires and make sure I'm using the exact same wire I found over here. So we're gonna go ahead and expose those wires, and once they're exposed, I'll show you guys what I'm talking about, and hopefully it makes more sense. It's better to take your time, go slow, and do it right the first time. Since these are electrical wires, you could really screw something up if you're not paying attention. Alright, I took off quite a bit of loom, but I finally found what I was looking for. We were looking for 2 green wires that were coupled together to form one. That single wire was going to go back to the fuse box. It could have been anywhere between the firewall all the way up here. I ended up finding it somewhere in the middle. This is where we're going to put a T connector. You're going to put it on the single side, not where the two wires are in the back. They join together and it makes a single wire. This single wire, we're gonna make a T-tap. So you're gonna basically connect this red and yellow wire here. I would recommend soldering it. Before I solder it, I want to make sure it works. So we're gonna test it now before I actually solder anything. You can see here I just have a wire. We have that red and yellow wire we connected or we cut earlier on one side of the speaker wire, and the other side is that green wire that was loomed 2 to 1. So this is just a T-shape. I did connect the battery, so now we can test and see if this is actually going to work. This is actually what we're aiming for. Now we have daytime running lights with the fog lights on and the headlights down. At the end of the video, I'll make sure to post these at night so you guys can see what they look like. Do take this really slow. You are messing with electrical wires, so you want to make sure you're getting the correct wire when you're doing this. I'm just going to solder the wires together, put the loom back together, put everything back in its place, and this is good to go. I did forget to mention, you guys, the other side of that red and yellow wire we cut, go ahead, tape this off. You don't need this anymore. I wouldn't get rid of the wire completely in case you ever want to revert it or do anything else with it, but I'm just going to tape this off, solder those 2 ends together, probably make this wire shorter, put everything back together, and we should be good to go.